Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We all know in our recent history that our country has experienced enormous economic growth at home and around the world. This is due in great measure to the entrepreneurial spirit of some great Americans. And tonight, North Carolina people's in the home of one of those individuals, Dr. Jim Goodnight of our own North Carolina. We'll meet and talk with him in just a few seconds.
North Carolina People is brought to you by Wachovia, banking, investments, and financial services for individuals, businesses, and corporations. Wachovia, we are here. Let's get started.
Jim, it's nice of you to let us come out here on these rolling hills and near this wonderful fish pond to visit with you this evening. I want to know something. How did you get the idea of creating SAS Incorporated now that it's such a great global organization? When you were at NC State, what brought this to your mind?
Well, we were in charge, the group that I was with at NC State was in charge of writing computer programs to analyze the agricultural research data that was being collected at the university. And over the years, we wrote various programs, and then at a point back in 1966, late 66, early 67, Jim Barr came up with the idea of merging all of these together and putting a framework around them. And so he contributed some of the systems work, and I contributed some of the procedures, and that's how SAS got its start.
From that simple beginning now today, how many countries worldwide?
Totally worldwide. Yes, I think we have 128 countries represented that have SAS in use. We've got offices in probably 35 countries around the world, all over Europe, Russia, Moscow.
Truly a global organization.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Well, now, tell me what happens here. I'm one of those illiterates when it comes to software and all of this. I can't keep up, but something goes on here that is terribly important. What do you do in the software industry that makes it so attractive?
Well, we deal with most of the large companies around the world who have a need to keep track of their business, know what's going on, make daily decisions. SAS is now more than anything else what we call a decision support system. We gather information out of the operational systems. We put them in what we call a data warehouse, and then we provide tools so that every end user in a business can have access to the corporate data to be able to make decisions about, what do we need to be doing next, what's selling, what's not selling, how's manufacturing doing, how's sales doing. All of these types of decisions need information, and that's what we do.
That must mean that you must have to update, every 12 months? Or how do you keep something like that fresh and current?
Well, that's been one of the secrets of SAS over the years. We first left the university with SAS. It was about 300,000 lines of code, and that 300,000 is now about 8 million. and that has been rewritten three or four different times. So we are constantly in the process of rewriting, updating, adapting to new hardware, adapting to new operating systems. So it's a constant vigil just to try to keep up.
Does that mean you make constant investment in innovation and creativeness in this organization? You've got to keep up with a new idea, create half of them yourself, and do things you must...
Well, we spend over a third of our total revenues on R&D. This is more than any other major software company. Even Microsoft does not spend that percentage of its revenues on R&D. We are an R&D driven company. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm in R&D myself.
Yes.
I'm not in the marketing side of SAS. I'm more in the R&D side. And we enjoy doing research and development and keeping the product fresh and moving forward.
Well, you've certainly been an enormously successful person at it. Is that one reason you've kept private control of the company? Is not public? You can move the way you want to do, quickly and efficiently?
Well, I would have to say that essentially, if you look back at the time when SAS was started back in 1976, at that time the the sort of the feeding frenzy of the venture capitalists wasn't around. Not much at all. To start SAS, we had to start it on our own, and we bootstrapped the company by working lots of extra hours, doing extra jobs ourselves. I mean, I used to be in the book packing part of the business. After writing software all day, I'd be back in the back packing books to send out to customers. So the original four of us that left the university had to make a major sacrifice to get the company up and going. And we have never felt any pressure from venture capitalists to go public. And so that's one of the reasons we're still a private company.
I came out here not so long ago when you invited our program in family literacy to have a home here, for which we've been profoundly grateful. But I had a feeling when I left here, Jim, that your company is so unique in that I saw a daycare center, a health center, a gymnasium, a restaurant. You do something for your people that you don't see every day. Is this your idea of employee relationships that produces a great community of colleagues in the company?
Well, I think first of all you have to stop and sort of picture what SAS is about. We're a knowledge company. It's one of the very first independent software companies. In other words, a company not owned by one of the hardware manufacturers. So the whole process of creating software is entirely an intellectual process. It's all mental. We don't create widgets or things that you manufacture. We create essentially zeros and ones, bits of information that tell computers what to do. So the vast majority of our workforce is college graduates. They need to be in an environment that they can be creative. So we have always taken great strides to make sure everyone has a private office, that they've got the best computer equipment, that we have a break station just down the hall. If they want to get a cup of coffee or a Coke, they can walk down and get it, and then they come back to their desk and work. So we're different in that respect, that for the first time in history, we had the ability to create a knowledge-based company, and therefore we've tended to make our benefits and the things we do for people new and different.
Well, you've been cited all over by all kinds of organizations for this very wonderful way of looking at people as colleagues and fellow scientists in a way. You put a very high premium on creativeness and innovative thinking, don't you?
Well, that's correct. That's what software is. You have to have inventive, creative people to generate software.
Well, now I wonder, you've done something here recently. I was in the LaGuardia airport this week, and I met Ann. The plane came in, and I wanted to ride back to Raleigh-Durham. And here you are in the airlines business, Midway Airlines. How did you begin to expand and diversify by getting in the airplane business?
Well, I'm not personally that involved in the airline business. I was with a group of folks that raised some money to help try to rescue Midway. I guess if you go back and look at when American was here and how we could go out to the airport and hop on a plane just about any time of day and get us anywhere we wanted to go, that was a great feeling, having that American hub here. Then when they left, the Midway people came in, and they made some mistakes and were not very profitable. Their backer, the Zell Chilmark Fund out of Chicago, had a 3-year investment program, and they were fully invested, and they really could not put any more money into the airline. So they were looking to sell it. There was one other rival group called the Smith Group, who also owned Hawaiian Airlines. If they had bought it, their plans were to move most of the planes to Hawaii and leave us without a good hub here. So decided that we needed to keep it here, so we stepped up to the plate. We were very fortunate that in this process we met a gentleman named Bob Ferguson, who is the CEO at Midway now. Bob was responsible for bringing Continental out of bankruptcy, and he did a tremendous job there.
Well, you've always operated on the principle that a company has to be a good community and a good citizen, a good neighbor, a civic leader. And I know that's what's led you to thinking a good deal about elementary education and your Carrier Academy. How did all that start in your fertile brain?
Oh, that's, I guess I have to give a lot of credit to my wife Ann,
Yeah.
who's basically the ideal person
Yeah.
here that started that. We had long discussions. Our son was in public school. Both of our daughters graduated from public schools here in Wake County. One went to Duke, graduated there. The other went to Carolina, graduated there. But as our son came along, we were just not as pleased with public schools as we had been before, and we felt like we would like to experiment on our own to see what we could do to improve the quality of education. I felt it was important that computers be involved in every class every day. So we established a group of curriculum development specialists who work at SAS and still work there. As a matter of fact, we're even expanding that group. But their goal is to build a complete computer-based educational system for students in the middle and upper schools.
It's going to be very interesting to follow that because there's so much going on in public schools now, so many innovative ideas being tested, charter schools, private schools, first one thing and another. Well, you've certainly been a pioneer here again, and Ann, your wife, has certainly, and how do you feel about this first year? Is it going well?
It's gone extremely well. Most of the kids just love the place, don't want to leave in the afternoons. The parents are even coming over at night to learn the computer systems that we've set up. So they're all getting involved in it. I think computers are just an absolute natural replacement for textbooks and pencils and pads. All of that you can do on the computer, and at the same time have access to a whole world of information through the internet. One of the things our specialists do is to look at all the websites around the world. They've visited thousands and thousands of websites to find out which websites actually have content that we can actually use. And that sort of reminds me that one of the basic problems in education right now is the idea that I think the governor's behind it, the president's behind it, let's wire up every school and put a computer in every classroom. Well, essentially, unless you have the content lined up about what those computers are going to be looking at and how the kids are going to be using them, it's a big waste of money.
It certainly is.
I would, my recommendations for public schools is let's put computers in one class, say English class or history. It happens that both the English and history classes are the easiest place to find content. It's all over the web, all over the world. You can visit museums in Cairo, you can visit the Louvre in Paris, and just enormous amounts of historical information, and all the Shakespeare plays, everything is online out there. So if you can develop course material around allowing kids to have access to this World Wide Web, then you really have something that's useful.
Is this available to every child at Carrier Academy now? That access is there?
Yes, every class has got a computer for each child, or at most there are 2 children per computer, and they're on the machines about half the class, and the other half they're having discussions and things like that. But the idea that in public schools, if we want to introduce computers there, we really should concentrate them, not just put one in every room where it's going to sit back in the corner somewhere unused. Let's have an English course based around the use of the computer, or a history course.
How difficult is it to find a teacher that can really master the equipment, Jim? Is this a constant process? You have to train your own? Or how have you done it?
Well, essentially, at Carrier Academy, we were very fortunate in that we hired a total of 32 faculty members, and this was from approximately 2,000 resumes that we received.
I'm sure of that.
So we were very lucky to be able to take the very best that we could find that applied. Essentially, today's computer using the web is not much more than clicking a mouse button and just learning a few very, very basic ideas. So I don't think it's anything that any of our current teachers couldn't pick up fairly rapidly. But they do need training, and that's one thing we built into Carey Academy. The first month before school started, every instructor or teacher was there for over a month's worth of training, so they were ready when the school opened.
Every day when you get up, you have this wonderful organization you head. You've got the airline to think about, the Carey Academy. What does Jim Goodnight do this for sheer recreation? You and Ann get away from here every once in a while. This is a lovely home. You own this huge lake out here. I know it's fun here, but how do you refresh it?
Well, actually just coming home at night is refreshing.
Well, I should say.
We can just sit out on the terrace during the summer and things like that, so it's very nice. Personally, I've been trying to learn to play golf about the last 6 or 7 years. We ended up with Prestonwood Country Club as part of a land deal that we did a sort of a rescue from the RTC back when everybody was going bankrupt. And I figure I should learn to play golf since we had a country club. So I've been hacking away at that now for the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, you look healthy and suntanned. You must enjoy it.
Well, I try to get out once a week and play. Of course, during the winter, one of our favorite pastimes is skiing.
Yeah.
We have a place out in Steamboat, Colorado, which is just a great ski location, a great ski town, and the people there are just so friendly, and it's just wonderful to go out there. We go out there a couple of weeks a year.
I want to pull you back now to being the global figure you are in policy and American corporate decision making. Is our country, in the economic terms now, doing the right kind of things in this global leadership role that it's playing? What do you see out there that we need to be doing differently?
I think right now, economically, we're doing quite well. I think we're producing more now than we've ever produced before. We're exporting more now than we ever have before. So, and the whole computer business really originates right here in the U.S. All of the development, just about everything that happens all around the world with regard to computers starts right here.
Well, now, as you look at SAS in the next 5 years, what have you blocked out as the next arena of attack, if I may put it that way? Where does the future lie?
Well, first of all, we don't block out things in 5-year blocks because things change. The industry is so rapidly changing that we try to stay as mobile as we can, so that if a new operating system comes out or some new computing metaphor or some user interface that people are gravitating to and our users tell us that's where they want us to be, we like to be in a position to be moving in that direction. So right now we're looking at new releases of the SAS system that provide for all of our output being generated in HTML so that it can go directly onto the web. Right now it's more of a printer form of output, and we're very near ready to get that release out.
When your people go out around the colleges in the springtime, then what type of person are you looking for when you recruit today, a man or a woman? What level of training? Mathematics must play a great role in who you choose, do they not? But what about these quality of personal characteristics that I see so much of out here?
Well, I think what we're really looking for is somebody that's really interested in working, that's got some real pent-up desire to be creative, to be in the process of creating things that other people use. I think that's one of the great satisfactions being a programmer, is that you're developing tools that other people will be using, and it sort of gives you a satisfaction to know that you're able to develop something that will make someone else's job easier.
All these people you have out here in this compound, the worker satisfaction, the employee retention rate, you must be the very best among your peers. Is it all these things you do to make me feel that I'm so much a part of what you're trying to do, doesn't it have that effect?
Well, we have seen in the last few years in the computer industry, software industry, average turnover of around 17%. At SAS, ours is about 4%. That difference, of course, has got a lot to do with the way we treat people. You know, one of our basic philosophies at work is that we trust each other. We're going to trust our employees. So that feeling of trust, it sort of permeates the whole place. And you know, you see people coming in late, and you see them leaving late, and they're very flexible hours that we have at SAS. You can pretty much set your own work time between, say, 7 in the morning and 7 at night. You can take early lunches so you can go to the gym. But all of that involves trusting people to do the right thing.
That's terribly important in building this camaraderie. But other than that, I noticed the clinic. If I'm here, I get medical care, I get dental care. That include my family if I'm one of your team?
Well, we have our own clinic on campus. We started that perhaps at least 10 years ago with a single nurse practitioner. Here in North Carolina, we're able to use nurse practitioners and as a screener to, you know, prescribe stuff for sore throats or colds or flu or whatever, and anything more serious, of course, will be referred on to a doctor. Over the years, that has built up to the point we have 5 nurse practitioners, 4 or 5 nurses. We've got 2 doctors now on staff full time. It's great for the employees because instead of spending 2 hours to drive across town, wait, drive back, they can be at the clinic, see a doctor or a nurse practitioner, and be back at their work in 30 minutes. So it's a great time saver.
It reflects in the bottom line. And if you don't have but a 2 or 3% turnover, and people can work as they please as long as they produce, that's a very unique arrangement.
Well, it is, and the health care gives us as a company a great savings in money. Instead of paying, losing those hours of those employees being gone, and providing all the preventative services that we do, because we're going to catch that flu right off the bat or that sore throat right off the bat before it gets worse. And we encourage people to come to the clinic as soon as they can to get themselves fixed up.
Back to the company a minute. Being so innovative and creative, you're testing a lot of ideas and new strategies and all this all the time. Do you miss one once in a while? Do you ever fail on something like this in your work that you do? You have trial and error?
Well, there's a lot of competitive products out there that I wish that we had created. That would be good. You can't see them all. On the other hand, we don't penalize failure. We have failed a number of times. We've had very large amounts of money spent on projects that we've eventually canceled because it just is not going to happen. You know, this product that we're working on is not getting out the door, or its time has passed. Something else has come along that's going to take its place.
I think that very spirit is one of the reasons for your success, that people know that you're willing to do that, and I can try, and I can innovate.
That's right. I tell people never to worry about how big a hole they dig, because they're not going to be able to dig bigger ones than I have back out there in the woods, because I've made some really stupid moves in my life.
Well, that's, as long as you can laugh at it, that's going to make it a success always.
Well, I think the secret about digging holes is when they get deep enough, you've got to acknowledge it and walk away from them.
Move on over.
Yeah, some people just keep digging, and that's not the right thing to do.
As you look around the third world and Southeast Asia and Latin America even, you're so closely identified with all the Fortune 500 companies. You see great economic opportunity for our country in the next 10 years?
Well, Latin America especially, we're seeing tremendous growth right now in the computer field. So, my measurement of all of this is really based on who's buying software. China right now is just really booming. Shanghai and all the coastal regions of China. We've got 3 offices now just in mainland China.
Does that require you to go abroad often?
No, not really. I sort of pick and choose where I want to go. I go to 3 or 4 of our user conferences around the world each year. We have one here in the U.S. I go to our national conference here. And then I'll go to some of the either one or two regional conferences here in the U.S. We have probably a total of about 20,000 users a year come together at various meetings around the world to talk about how they're using SAS and what the things they want to see us work on to improve SAS. So we've got a really tremendously good user group community.
You have your own video center here. You must still do a lot of teaching by way of film and television.
Well, that's how it got started. We were back in the early '80s. We're producing video educational courses that we would sell to our customers, and over the years that's just continued to grow and grow. And of course now the particular use of video for education is sort of waning, and now it's more computer-based, where everything needs to be done on the computer.
Well, I'm sorry that we've used up all of our time, Jim. It's such a joy to sit here and listen to you, but for all North Carolinians, I want to express our pride in your success and what you do for all these wonderful enterprises around here in literacy and education and many other things. We're grateful for your good citizenship, and thank you for the opportunity to come to your home to visit today.
Well, thank you, Bill. It's a great pleasure talking to someone that has done as much for North Carolina as you have.
Thank you very much.
North Carolina People is brought to you by Wachovia, banking, investments, and financial services for individuals, businesses, and corporations. Wachovia, we are here, let's get started.